nice little start. Now, basically, a drip, and that's your result. That one there, you're probably looking at about 2,000 years old just for that.
He's joking.
Great. And that's how slow it formed. So each time a drip, a bit of rain from a few months ago, it'll take its time coming down through the limestone and the soil, picks up a bit of CO2 from the decomposing material in the sand, goes through the limestone and picks up calcium carbonate from the limestone. That drip, when it drips, leaves a little deposit of calcium carbonate on the end of that straw, just a little bit of haze to it. And the majority hits the ground, and that grows at that rate of about a centimetre every 100 years. So that, a couple of them are dripping at the moment, guys, because if we look a bit further down, I'll let you get your photo. If you look down there, there's water. So that's where they're dripping from up there at the moment. And there's a crack in there too. Just there.
This pile here you've got, like, obviously looks like a limestone or calcium or whatever here. Is that a result from these dripping?
Yeah, so that's a piece of flowstone.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And flowstone was once a straw and a stalactite. Because these guys, if I go over here now, here's a really good example of a stalactite. Stalactite hangs on tight. Yeah, I'm going to make you spin around here. So they need to put the chairs around the other way. If you look at the bottom of that, there's a straw. There's actually a straw running through that. And what happened, that straw blocked up. It blocked up with dirt, impurities from above ground, and when it blocked up, the water still wanted to get down. It couldn't, so it backs up through the tube and then runs down the outside. And that deposits on the outside, and that's why you get that carrot shape. So that's the formation of a stalactite. Stalagmites, they're shorter and wider. Short and stumpy. Because they get the majority of the drip hit the ground and it splashes out. So.
Would you put your torch back on the straw?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
And there you go, you got a nice little spider web going across there too.
Yes,
they don't
I
miss
wondered whether they use the spiders
Cobwebs,
to extend themselves.
That's a column. So when the stalactite and stalagmite join up, they ran out of interesting names, just call it a column or a pillar. Imagination ran out. And then their imagination got better again, because once you get a photo of that over here, one of my favourite little guys, they're called helictites. They are crazy. They make no sense. And for many years they were actually called cave mysteries. A lot of people think they're tree roots when they first see them.
Yeah.
They're actually not. It's basically to do with surface tension and capillary action, very slow moving water, slightly pressurised, going through these straws, and when it gets to the end it doesn't drip, it just sets. And it's not wind or anything that's causing it to change direction, it's just how they come out, and you get some absolute beauties, okay, doing whatever they want, coming out of straws. Okay, so that's a helictite. It comes from a Greek word helix, which means twist. Okay.
Oh, that is a twist on
nature. They're cool. They're great. You've got a bit of cave coral in there. So I often say to people, look in the gaps, and that's where you often see some of the real gems, the real beauties. So, which you'll see when you pass the jewel casket down at that lit up part down below. So that's cave coral. There's our camel. That's just a little. See the hump in the head. Yeah, one of our illusions. Now. That there, beautiful as well. That's called flowstone. That was a waterfall once. Named Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean for the similarity. So now, water used to fill this place. It used to be a river going through here. If you look there, and I turn the light off, there's your lines. That's the water levels that used to be in here many thousands of years. The water was right up to the ceiling. Not now. Put your mind at ease. No flowing water through here now, just slight dripping. So, and another piece of flowstone is this one straight in front of us, and that's the oldest dated piece in the cave. They've dated that at 866,000 years old. They did a sample a few years ago. It's just under that million mark. Okay, so within that age range. So, and last but not least, you probably saw these beautiful coloured ones walking up, the shawls. There's a stunning one just there. Their nickname's cave bacon because it looks like a big piece of streaky bacon. And the reason they form like that, and the best way to do it is here, angled rock face. Wherever you see them, there'll be a bit of angled rock face nearby. And the water enters, doesn't drip, it runs down that angled rock face, deposits calcium carbonate, next drip, and it builds out like a curtain or a fin. Now the colour that you see in them is the tannins from the vegetation, the plant material. That's not trick lighting, that's a white light shining through that, and we've got a lot of that red and orange and yellow and brown coming through, so they're the tannins. And they're a bit like a weather map too, because where you see a clear line going through it, because you get people who say, oh, can you tell the age of it from the lines, you know, thinking like a tree, the rings. We can't, but it tells us a bit what the weather has been in the past. Where you see clear, that means water was coming in quicker, more diluted. Where the colour is, that's where it's dripping in slower, picked up more of those tannins and deposited the lines. So they're a weather map, I think. So they're beautiful though. So.